I have an inner voice that no one hears but me. I have an outer voice, and the outer voice is how people perceive me. You know, when you walk into a room, people make an immediate assumption about who you are without any knowledge of what's really going on within you. And then I have an expressive voice, which is who I have become. And I turned all this into a authenticity grid. As a matter of fact, when I first did this at 28, I didn't have these words on here. I had the words of animals, because I recognized different energies in myself. So, for example, the intuition was an owl, because I would go into thinking, and I wrote poetry, and I would take a different energy. My integrity was a panther, because I was directing preschool programs at that time, and you better not mess with my kids. So that was like a panther, right? And my inspiration was more of a snail, because I was kind of moving very slow. Listening in 30 years is a long time. So I was getting the inspiration, but it was a long-term inspiration. So I had different animals for all of these. I've redone my animals. Some of them have changed. Some have gone to different spots on here. Some have gone away, and some new ones have come. But I found that was an easy way to understand whatever was coming through me, because all of this really came through me. I didn't start out saying, I'm going to figure out what it means to be authentic. That was not my career goal. What I did is I just let my gifts and talents unfold and then followed the gift that was there. And that was a lot of sacrifices to do it that way, because life requires you to have income and other things that keep going. And when you're unfolding like that, it's not the same path. So it would be so much easier for children if they knew who they were earlier, then they get on their path a lot earlier and not go through the maze of confusion that we often go through to figure out what we're doing in life. So when I finished this, which took 30 years, I didn't really know what it was. I had written a workbook for each one of these, and it was all based on my life experiences. And then I had to go around the country. I did 20 cities in 18 months. And gave people the assessment I'm about to give you to find out what this was that I had. And what I have is a tool that's a self-coaching tool. You can use this to coach yourself. And when students learn how to use it to coach themselves, they can move themselves forward to a more effective life. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the assessment. And I'm going to tell you about each of the dimensions on here. So the inner voice, well, first of all, each of these pillars, the inner, the outer, and expressive voice, have 3 dimensions within them. And each dimension has a question you're going to answer in this 9-question assessment we're about to take. It's divided into not only inner, outer, and expressive, but also horizontally think, communicate, and do. And what that basically means is to get something done effectively, it's a 3-step process. First, you must think about it, strategize, evaluate, plan, research. Then you communicate with yourself and others, and then you do. But what happens in life so much is we get forced to do things before we understand why we're doing it. How many jobs have you been on when you were told to go do this and you didn't understand why, or where to fit, or get the orientation for it? How many times have you told someone or asked someone to do something without really seeing and knowing, without helping them understand where it's going or why they're doing it? And so as I put together these energies and dissected myself, I realized with the think area, everything on this think side relates to gifts that you're born with. And so what you do with them. So everyone's born with a sixth sense. But do you develop it? Do you build it? Everyone's born with a certain set of DNA. How do you respect it? How do you take care of it? Everyone is born with gifts and talents. Do you recognize it? Do you develop it? The middle part is communicate, because people know you by your values. People know you by the people you associate with. You communicate who you are by your personality. And the do part is because nothing happens unless you inspire yourself. Nothing happens if you don't have abundance and joy in your life. And nothing happens well if you don't have habits that are healthy. So those are the 9 areas you're going to be assessing yourself on, beginning with intuition. Intuition on the inner voice thing. And it has to do with your sixth sense, how you listen to yourself. How many of you think you're intuitive? That's just about 100%. Well, I can look around the room and I know everyone in the room is intuitive. And I know that because each one of you showed up today with clothes on. And I say that because you asked yourself at one point last night, this morning, what am I going to wear today?
Sure did.
Did anybody ask it out loud? Sometimes there's one in every crowd.
Sometimes.
But then do you answer yourself out loud?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Mostly though, you answer yourself inside.
Right.
You also ask yourself every day what we're going to eat, and what time is it?
Yeah.
These are things you ask routinely, and you ask them every single day. And you get an answer. Everybody looks like they've been eating. Everybody's got clothes on. Showed up here on time. So those things are things that we do every day. So think about how the answer comes to you. Is it a thought? Is it a feeling? Is it in your gut? Is it a memory? Is it a taste? You know, when I lost 30 pounds, I bought this suit. And this has been like 25 years. I still have that suit. Because it made me feel so good. And it's orange. I always wear orange. And it's tattered. You couldn't tell unless you showed you. But I know when I get the feeling that I got when I first tried that suit on and saw how good it looked on me and how my little shape was looking really good and stuff. I know when I get that feeling in life, that's a good spiritual feeling for me. That's a good intuitive feeling. That lets me know that wherever that's coming from, that's on my side. It's for me. So what about you? What do you know about your intuition and how does your intuition show up? So for every question I'm going to ask you, you're going to answer it from the degree that you've integrated the concept in your life. Now by that what I mean, think about, and I'm going to talk to youth right now, and for adults it's driving a car, for youth it's riding a bicycle. Think about the first time you got on a bicycle. And you try to learn how to ride a bike. You had to fall a few times, you had to get up. Eventually, you finally figured it out. Okay, if I sit this way, if I hold the wheel this way, if I pedal this way and think about this, I can do this. And now, you just wonder, wow, how did I finish 2 miles of riding already? Or in the car, how did I get home already? Because you've integrated the practice in your life. So for each one of these questions, you're going to answer it to the degrees that you've integrated in your life. So question number 1, intuition, the degree to which you listen to and follow your inner voice. Bless you. The question is, are you listening and responding to the quiet voice within you? You're going to score yourself 1 to 3 if your answer is, I didn't know I had a voice within. 4 to 7 if I found it and I'm beginning to access it. And 8 to 10, I allow my inner voice to lead and direct me. Circle the number that's most appropriate for you. And now we're going to talk about the second dimension, which is integrity, which is your values. What is your value system? What do you truly believe in? Not what your parents told you to believe in, but what's really important for you. And you know, really that does change some in life. As you get older and know yourself, and you have different experiences, and it causes you to change what your values are. But knowing them is very important. You know, a lot of people in the speaking industry will tell you to think about the top friends in your life, the people you see the most. And then they'll convince you that whatever your income, whatever their income is about what your income is. Anybody heard that before?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what I like to tell people is that think about who is in your life, and those are people who have the same values that you have. Your friends you share values with. Who in here has been divorced? Anybody? Okay. So was it not a values conflict that you had?
Mm-hmm.
Where your values were different? And if you're married now, isn't it that your values are alike, are similar? So it's really values that help identify who we are. We make our decisions by our values. When you see something, you determine whether you value it. When you're at the store and you have $10 to spend, you spend it on something that's important to you, that you value. You don't spend it on something that's not important. So it's important to know what your values are.
Mm-hmm.
When you know what your gifts and talents are, you can make better decisions about your future. And because you know what your values are. So values is very important. And I found this to be one of the most important things for the children who were in China when I was working with them. So, number 2, integrity. Obtaining and following a belief system, values. Question: what does your value system communicate to those who are watching and listening? Score yourself 1 to 3 if I'm not aware of my values. 4 to 7, I'm aware of my values and recognize where I need to strengthen them. And 8 to 10, my values are fully integrated in my life. Give yourself a score. And the third dimension of the inner voice pillar is inspiration. And I like to contrast inspiration from motivation. You know, I owned a speakers bureau, and everybody wanted to be a motivational speaker. It was very hot at one point in time. But understand that motivation is outside coming in. Someone trying to motivate you to do something. But you don't do anything unless you are inspired. Someone can motivate, but until you get it and you're inspired, you're not going to act on it. It reminds me of a story of a young man whose mother is always telling him to go to school because he just likes to stay in the bed. And she'll knock on the door and say, son, get up.
Get up.
You got to go to school. Get up. Get late. Time to go. And eventually she'd have to say to him, son, get up, go to school. You're the principal. So she could motivate all she wanted to, but until he got it, that unless I'm inspired to get up and go do my responsibility because people count on me and my paycheck counts on me, et cetera, he wasn't going to move. And that's like you too.